In today's flashback to the 1980s review, I'll be looking at the vintage Star Wars micro collection, Bespin World. Now, Bespin World consists of 3 individual playsets, and back in the 1980s, you could buy 1, 2, or all 3. And when you put all 3 together and combine them, so to speak, you get the Bespin World playset. Now today we're going to take a look at all 3, starting with the gantry, then we'll take a look at the control room, and finally we'll take a look at the freeze chamber. And here is a closer look at the gantry playset. This playset does come with 4 die-cast metal figures. Now technically there really are only 2 characters. You have 2 versions of Luke and 2 versions of Darth Vader. So we can take a look at Darth Vader, and you can see there is quite a lot of sculpt detail. And his lightsaber is flexible, so obviously that's not made of die-cast metal. But as you can see, there's a lot of detail even in his cape, which is really nice. And here's a look at the second version of Darth Vader. You can see his left hand is outstretched. And we'll take a look at the Luke figures. And considering their size, they do have quite a nice amount of sculpt and paint detail. And finally, we take a look at the second version of Luke Skywalker, and you'll notice that his right hand is missing. Of course, that is accurate to the ending of the Empire Strikes Back movie. And here is the actual play set itself. This is the gantry. It should look familiar to you. And it does have 2 features. It has a opening door, and this platform here does rotate. Now, depending on your preference, you can have, as you see here, all 4 figures placed on the gantry playset at once, or you can just have this set over here or just this set over here. In this case, we have the lightsaber battle. And over here we have a recreation or reenactment of perhaps the most iconic moment in Star Wars history, where Darth Vader reveals that he is indeed Luke Skywalker's father. And we can see here that Luke is on the edge clutching this pole. Of course, he's using his left arm and hand to do that, and of course his right hand is missing. So pretty cool. Pretty nice way to reenact one of the key moments of the Star Wars Empire Strikes Back movie. And now we move on to the control room. Now this particular playset brings back a lot of good memories, because I actually had this toy as a kid growing up in the 1980s. And as you can see here, that the playset does come with these 4 die-cast metal figures. Again, we have 2 versions of Darth Vader. And again, nice sculpting detail considering the size of this figure. And here is the second version of Darth Vader. And we have Luke Skywalker with his lightsaber. And finally we have the second version of Luke with his blaster. Now these die-cast figures are prone to having the paint chip off. As you can see there's an example. And on to the actual control room itself. Now it has one gimmick. You can see here is a little bar here, and you'll notice there's a section of the floor here that has almost like a separate panel. And what happens is you slide this bar here, this panel pops up like that, and what you're supposed to do is place the Luke figure onto this section of the floor there. And when you do that and you actuate the panel, what happens is Luke goes through the window, which is one of the scenes in The Empire Strikes Back. So that's pretty cool. And here is a look at all 4 figures placed on the control room playset. Pretty cool. And here is a look at the freeze chamber. Now the freeze chamber does come with 8 figures. I only have 7 of the 8. The one that I'm missing is this guy right here, Boba Fett. Now taking a look at the figures up close, you can see we get 2 Stormtrooper figures. And then we get a Darth Vader. And we get Lando. And Lobot. And finally we come to Han Solo. And we have 2 versions of him. So we have here a look at Han Solo with the cuffs around his wrists, and he's about to be frozen in carbonite. So there he is. And here is the second version. Of course, we see him actually frozen in carbonite. Well, not really carbonite, but you know, die-cast metal. But yeah, they're pretty nicely detailed. I would say the color on this is a little bit off. It looks a little bit too... It's really a copper color, much like a penny, which I don't think is the exact color, but anyways, lots of nice detail there. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the actual freeze chamber. So looking at the freeze chamber, there are a couple of gimmicks I will point out. One thing is you have an elevator here. It can go up to the 2nd level, and as you can see there is a lower level and a 2nd level. You do have this piece here, which is kind of like a staircase, and this piece does actually remove and can be placed elsewhere on the set. You also have this ramp here, and this ramp can, be also placed in a different orientation. So that does come off. And looking down here, you can see you have a door. This does slide, not very well, but it does slide, revealing kind of the freeze chamber area. And this is supposed to be a play feature where you can pretend to have Han Solo escape the freeze chamber from this door. I mean, that's obviously not movie accurate, but it's a play feature, so you do have that. And the final, and of course the feature gimmick of this freeze chamber, is the fact that you can put the unfrozen version of Han Solo into the freezing chamber, and out will come the frozen version. Now the way you do that is there's actually 2 levers. You have a lever here, and on the end of this is 2 platforms. One platform that can hold this figure, and one platform that can hold the frozen and carbonite version of Han Solo. And let me bring around the correct platform. You can see here, maybe, there is a little tab, and this tab, what you do is you place the figure, place the figure on that, like that. You can make that out. and then you rotate or lower down and rotate so that you bring up the new platform, which you can see there. And you can see it has the slots for which you can place this figure, or this version of Han Solo, into there and get it in there nice and securely. So what you're supposed to do to reenact the scene where Han Solo gets frozen, so you rotate up Han Solo here. He's now going to say his farewells to Princess Leia and tell Chewbacca not to fight another day. So here we go. We'll lower him down into the freezing chamber, and you want to take this, push this down, and that will seal him into the the freezing chamber. And once you're ready to bring him up, you bring that piece up there. Then you want to rotate the platform around so that you reveal the frozen version of Han Solo, as you can see right there. And that's how the quote-unquote magic happens. So it's kind of a neat little gimmick. And as mentioned before, this set can be combined with the other two sets, the gantry as well as the control room, to form the Bespin World. So let's take a look at that setup. So here is Bespin World with all three playsets connected. And here is Configuration B. That's what they call this version of the set. You can see now they're not connected in a straight line. You've got the gantry here coming in at this point, and the control room coming in at this point. Well, boys and girls, thank you so much for taking a trip back to the 1980s with me, like it's 1985. We've been looking at the Star Wars Micro Collection Bespin World playsets, and really cool idea to have, three individual sets which can be purchased separately and played with separately, but the fact that they combine into one larger playset is really cool. And the most cool part about this is each of these sets basically depicts a key moment in the Empire Strikes Back movie. You have the scene, of course, where Han gets frozen in carbonite. You have a scene over here where Darth Vader reveals that he is indeed Luke's father. And then you have an iconic battle scene over here in the control room. So really cool that Kenner really captured three key moments and basically translated them into a playset. Alrighty, well, thanks for watching this flashback to the 1980s review. Until next time, see ya.